Welcome to Feminized. It's time for a show that turns the spotlight on the powerful women shaping cannabis culture. The cannabis industry is on fire and women are sparking it up. If you like the show, please subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Feminized podcast with Liz Grow on YouTube and Instagram. The future is feminized. Hey sis. You're now listening to the Feminized podcast. I am so excited to be here with you. But Shawna Seldon-McGregor, the visionary, the leader, the founder of the Maverick PR, a cannabis-focused PR agency in Denver, Colorado. Welcome to Feminized.
Oh my gosh, I'm so, first of all, honored to be here. I mean, I'm usually not the one talking on a camera or talking on a microphone or whatever, I'm usually the one who's, putting you in touch with some of the amazing women and companies that I work with. But so it's just such an honor to be asked.
Well, I'm so pleased. I've been warning you for a while now, though. You are so dynamic, so good at what you do, so great to work with. It's just like, I want to know more about your story every time we're together, but we're always, we're working, we're doing the damn thing, girl, doing the damn thing. It's funny how, you can spend so much time with someone talking about other stories and then suddenly you start to dig into, whether it's you as a producer, host and whatnot, telling other people's stories, learning more about yours too. No, absolutely. So, that's where I want to start. Let's just dive right in. How did you get to be here as the leader of the Maverick?
Yeah. So, I think it really all stems from, first of all, like a love of words and a love of writing, and really at the core of it, a love of journalism and a love of the Fourth Estate. I think I've been writing since before I could remember. And I remember as a little kid wanting to write books and writing, stories and that sort of thing. And then, going to the University of Florida, go Gators. I always have to put that in there. Go Gators. Right? Oh, it's don't do this. That is the Seminole chop. But anyways, so being there and going to the journalism school and writing for newspapers and writing for magazines. I really just wanted to tell people's stories like you, and so, and I also just inside of me knew I always wanted to go to New York City. And when I was in college, I had to pick a major, and it's crazy how they put this on 18-year-olds. Now you have to decide what you're doing for the rest of your life. And wow.
But wait, you took a career inventory, so you're good. You filled in some bubbles when you were still drunk from the night before. Yeah, exactly. I was said to be a rabbi, okay? And I went to Notre Dame. So I thought that was the most hilarious thing. That was what the career inventory said about me. So I digress.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yes. So
what a different path that would have been.
I didn't even know what to say. Yes, it would have been a very different path. But let's talk about you. You're 18 and you're faced with this big decision about the rest of your life. So what did you choose?
Well, the gentleman, my career counselor, who was probably 1 year older than I was like, why don't you like people, you like writing, why don't you, which are like the two things you're never supposed to say in a PR, interview, why don't you do PR? And I'm like, perfect. And I just jumped right in, and it just combined all of the things that I love to do, and just, moved to New York City, started working in agencies, and was actually doing PR for media outlets the Times and the Merediths and whatever of the world. So I learned what you guys, what producers, what editors want, how to deliver it to them, how to support them in their work. And was jamming in New York City, met a guy who's now my husband. He wanted to move back to where he was from, which was Colorado. That landed me in Denver, Colorado in June of 2012. I love politics. I immediately went to go, we both are into politics. We both went to go register to vote, and I got the ballot measures, and being a cannabis consumer since before I should admit, was blown away by this Amendment 64. I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I had no idea living on the East Coast how far the efforts had come, and like that was surprising to me. There's so many things happening in this world. Like I was calling my guy in New York City, and and they were forming a regulated industry out here, and so it was great. Yeah, I loved being in a state where I could have a medical, my husband had a medical card. And then when recreational or adult use came into effect in 2014, being able to go to the store and purchase what I need to feel better about myself, to address anxiety or attention deficit disorder or lack of ability to sleep or whatever the case might be, being able to access that medication was huge. But at that same time, I never thought I would be in the industry. I was just jamming along, doing my thing, doing PR for sustainable technologies, renewable energy, highly regulated industries, that sort of thing, with a focus on earned media and public affairs, and, kind of serving the media in that way. And just being in the middle of Denver, Stan Wagner leaned over to me one day and was like, "What do you think about cannabis?" And I was like, "Why? Do you want to go smoke a joint or something?" Not that I would have done that during business hours, no way. But no. But he was putting together a conference, and I jumped in, and it was a time when when the brands and the industry and the companies weren't communicating with the press. So there was a real need to educate them, and then it just snowballed from there.
Wow. It just pulled you right in. I love it.
Absolutely.
So What made you, just curious, what made you and Patrick, which I love, that's your husband's name, and I also have a Patrick.
Yes, we love the Patricks.
We do. So what made you and Patrick move from New York to Denver? I mean, that's a big life decision there.
Yeah, honestly, like I never thought I would leave the center of the universe, it was, center of the universe, New York City.
Girl,
but
your life.
Yeah, it was like the energy in that city and everything was, working with, I cannot tell you how much I think every single person that wants to, not every single person, but it is so worthwhile going to New York City or whatever big city and like just being there and like learning for a couple of years and absorbing what that is, because the people that you meet and you work with, it's just crazy. But anyways.
That's how you and Patrick, that's how you and my Patrick, that's all of you guys connect, really. You all went and spent your 20s in a city that never sleeps, and you can't
and
be
we
beaten.
never slept
And you never slept, and you can't be beaten, and so I like to surround myself with winners. So that's why. Seriously. But you left to Denver. I mean, what was that about? Why did you guys feel you needed to make that change?
Well, I was really tired after not sleeping for 14 years. No, I'm just kidding. No, it really was like New York City. Everyone's always like, oh, now, especially like real estate prices are so expensive, et cetera, but they're never getting better. And it's really, really expensive there. And you have to really come from a lot of money if you ever want to own anything there. And so, walking home, like in the rat race, I was like, let me just give something else a try. Like New York City will always be there.
Yes.
And it does, so I'm like, let me just move to Denver and give it a try. And it was scary, but I did it. And, I had my exit like routes all scoped out and like, what could I do if I needed to move back or whatever. But Denver is just amazing, and it's beautiful, and you know, you can buy it. Actually, well, you used to be able to 14 years, like 10 years ago, you could actually
Yeah.
buy a house, not anymore. But, you know, that's a whole other
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
But, you know, but yeah, it was great. I wanted it was time, and he asked me to move, and I gave love a chance.
Oh
So,
my
you know,
God, I love it when the story
yeah,
turns out
yeah.
like that. Give
Yeah.
love a chance, baby. And then look how, you know, look what found you, you know, cannabis and this beautiful plant. You know, you're using it personally. You were, you know, just jamming along, as you say. And now you are an active conduit for its message. I mean, Shawna, like nobody works harder than you do in cannabis PR. I mean,
Maybe
there
you.
are some people, listen, I mean, there are definitely some names in cannabis PR who are formidable characters doing great work. And, you know, you're among them. You are there.
Yes.
You are at the top of your game. So, you know, my question to you is what advice do you have for any, you know, for women who want to get into PR? You know, we'll just start there with PR and then go on to cannabis PR.
Yeah, I just like to just stop and make a note of that. You said, like, I am one of many, and there is room for all of us. Like, there's such amazing publicists in this industry. They are all super, you know, most of them are really welcoming and kind and just really good people. And I think that's what is great. Where this industry came from was just like such good hearts. And like I said, I never thought I would be in the cannabis industry. Like in 2012, 2014, you know, a lot of people would say no to that. They wouldn't have done it. And when I was approached with it, I believe in it. I come, like, as I've said before, and I'll say again, like, I come from a military family. I didn't think that I knew my parents did not approve. I'm a grown up, you know, I pay my own bills, all of that. And I believed in what I was doing. And that is PR 101 for all those people who are like, I want to do PR. What does it do what does it take to do that? It takes ethics, morals, like you need to believe in everyone you represent or be able to walk away. I'll never forget my, you know, UF PR 101 teacher who was like, you better be ready to walk out the door if they're doing something that is unethical or that you can't stand behind, because it is PR, it's earned media, it's not paid. You're only as strong as your message and your ethics and that sort of thing. So really believing and understanding who you're working for. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, as much as I understand that there is an importance of work-life balance, it also is not really like a job you can fit into a box or like a 9-to-5 time frame, like a bank or something like that, banker's hours or whatever. Like, because the media and because things happen all the time, you do need to be a little flexible. I mean, you can take, you know, just understanding that you might have to have early, late days, weekends, that sort of thing is, I think, another really important thing to just basic to understand. And then being good at language, in this case, the English language, like being able to write and that sort of thing is also really important. Knowing what AP style is versus Chicago style and all those little things like to me that are so important that make all of my teammates crazy, but you know.
But you know, when you're representing the clients that you're representing, there's a very small room for error. You know, some of these clients that you're representing are the biggest in the game, and I want to give you a chance to brag on them in a second. But, you know, I imagine that, you know, being in PR can get quite stressful. So how do you balance? How do you stay happy? I mean, you strike me as a happy, healthy, well-adjusted person. So how the hell do you do that in PR?
So I'm watching right now, We Crashed. And I don't know if you've seen that. It's a series on Hulu about the WeWork founders, and I mean, she's a little, it's a little ridiculous, but Anne Hathaway plays the female founder, and she's like, you know, something about happiness is a choice, and it really is. Happiness is a choice. Like you know, it's a mindset. You can choose to let people bring you down. And yeah, of course, like I think it's very interesting. I come from a different generation, like from Gen Z, like I am Gen X, like I'm on the cusp of like Gen X and whatever the next one was.
Right. But, it's like 80, it's like 79, 80, 78. I mean,
yeah, I'm 76. Yeah. Yeah. I'm mostly Gen X. So, you know, at that time, like we lived through like, you know, Black Friday and like the stock market crash and the tech bubble and a different world. Whereas now I learned so much looking at the, you know, at the younger generation coming up, the Gen Zs, and how they hold truth to power so amazingly. And it's so like stuff that I just kind of like didn't like. They're like, no, it's not right. Yeah. And like, I'm like, wait, you can say that? You can say that? Like, I think it's amazing. Like, I just love that. But
I completely agree.
I forgot what the question was.
No, I completely agree. We were just talking about pressure and how much, you know, pressure it's, you know, sometimes you can be under in PR and really how you balance that. But, you know, yeah, looking at this younger generation coming up, holding truth to power. I mean, I feel like that in and of itself is like balancing, just keeping you level when you're able to speak up and you're not stuffing it down. Like, this is bullshit, but I'm going to take it because it's my superior and I don't want to lose my job, which is very much a situation that, you know, I think folks that you and I, like in that kind of bracket, like we were just on the out of the bad dudes. Maybe. Hopefully there are no more bad dudes. I'm sure there are bad dudes.
Oh,
but there were some bad practices, man. Like, oh God, I think about just the corporate world and shudder sometimes when I think back to my 30s.
Yeah, and it is so amazing to be able to see how far we've come and to make your life, like, you really do have the opportunity to choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
You can do the 9 to 5, you can be a mail carrier, you could be a bank teller, you can do those types of things, or you can like really find that thing. Like for me, it's public relations. I love it. Yeah. Like I work with a team of amazing people and I tell the stories of companies that have meaningful stories to tell. Like I always think about like the B2B, like corporate conversation about how do you sell a Bic pen, you know, or how do you sell weed, which like, oh my gosh, like you never thought we would be having this. Like when I was 21, you could not have told me that I would be in this position today. I would say you're crazy and that's not possible, but look at how far we've come. And like my saying, my North Star is if you can dream it, you can do it. And like, we're so like, there's so many issues in this world. Like, let me get up on my soapbox from like climate change, politics, divisiveness, like all of the things, like how are we having that conversation? And like, that's a big piece of it is, you know, like I'm 45 and I'm proud of my age and I'm proud of that. Yeah. And like, but it's,
you look amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
But it's so amazing, like how much you learn like how much I've learned and how much I'm just amazed at how much more there is to learn and how interesting conversations are. And like, I don't know. Anyways, I swear I'm not high. Like,
no, I love it. No, I love it. I love it. And I believe you because I know you, and high or not, Shawna Seldon-McGregor is just a total badass full of wisdom. And I get what you're saying. And I've had a few of these conversations with guests on the show about when you get into your 40s, because I'm 42. And when you get into your 40s, it's like, wow, wait a minute. All of a sudden, there's like wisdom there. it's like you turn around and it's like, whoa, hey, Miss New Booty, I got some wisdom, and it feels really good. And that just goes with age, and you can't get that wisdom without age, you know, not to take anything away from your 30s, because damn, you learn. But
right.
It's
and
fun.
I'm learning every day. I learn from the 30-year-olds and the 20-year-olds, and like being able to like figure out what I can learn from them and how to. That's the most interesting thing, is these conversations that we have, and how to try to empower them to see their power.
Yes.
Like that is, you know, because there's a lot of like, there's such this interesting traction that we're dealing with right now of, you know, you've got these Gen Zers who everyone said had helicopter moms and this and that, but they're also breaking, you know, but they're the ones who are breaking, like you might have been a helicopter mom, but you also helped them feel the power within themselves so that they are like, I am going to break down those barriers. And I do feel, but like, so they can break down barriers, but how do we give them the independence to be like, and you know, to feel, I don't know, to be a part, anyways. Yeah.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. It's God, it's all learning, right? It's all learning. And if we can support one another, we can learn, I think, a lot faster and in a more gentle way than, you know, judging ourselves and judging others, because it's fucking hard, man. It's hard. And I see it's biting me in the ass. There's no doubt about it. It's biting me in the ass. I have a 17-year-old. I'm like, God, why couldn't you just have stopped and like made her do her own laundry when she like got in the 7th grade or whatever? No, but whatever. We do our best. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. I would love to pick your brain about, I don't know, maybe some advice for cannabis brands. So first, there's the cannabis brand who's maybe just starting, or they don't have any budget and they're trying to do it on their own. What can they do to get more PR? And then on the other side of it, what about the cannabis brand who's got some budget to spend? And it's like, we can do some things, but how should we spend it? So,
yeah. Okay. Well, so the startup, let's just, you know, a startup in Denver, Colorado, you know, you've got a very tight budget. You're producing widgets, cannabis, maybe, you know, whatever. But you don't really feel like you have a PR budget yet. The first thing that I would do is to start to develop understand who your audiences are and how do they get their information. You know, there's the sales funnel, as most business people know somehow, like what the top of the sales funnel and pushing people through it. So, you know, what I do, I consider as top of the sales funnel work, which is raising awareness for your brand to people who may not have heard about it so they can go and get more information. If you're a startup, you're going to want to think about, like, how are you communicating to your staff? How are you communicating to your customers, and how are you communicating with your community? And so you will want to think about, like, what does your website look like? Do you have a blog? Do you have a newsletter? And then who is covering your space? You know, if there's bloggers or influencers or whatever who can help share your message on a micro level, so that you're not paying Kim Kardashian, you know, $100 million on for one post on Instagram. Like, you're not there yet, you know?
Right. So, not yet.
You know, so just kind of, and then identifying who those people are, keeping them in a list or a MailChimp or whatever the case might be. And creating a relationship with them, inviting them to events, come get a tour, like, you know. So there's some things that you can do, and you want someone who has like either a quarter of their time or a half of their time or something that they can be committing to that on a daily and weekly basis. So, you know, that, you know, and you can find people to help you set up those systems. And if that's one thing you want, communicate that from the beginning, because, you know, I can come in and I can service a client, but if they wanted me to come in and set up their communications department, that's an option too.
Ooh.
It just, it's just a matter of how do you want to, like, do you have the resources? Do you want to deal with the people, or do you want to outsource it? And the benefit of outsourcing is that, it is kind of like a clearinghouse. Like I've been doing this since 2014, and most of the reporters know who I am, and they'll ask me if I know who can cover X, Y, or Z, whether that's in a specific city or market or industry. And I can give them options, and they can say, oh, that works. So there's that is really, I think, the benefit of a PR firm is to be able to provide trend analysis and story ideas and create content.
Yes.
Kind of, like what you guys do, but you guys are the unvarnished, unfiltered, I think, reality of it. Whereas we're doing a little bit of spin. I'm not going to lie. There's spin involved.
Yeah. Well,
you want your best. You want to show your best side. Which side is it?
Yeah. Right. Oh man, I love it. I love that you said that and mentioned that, because that's definitely what PR folks, I think, are known for, and which is why it's so great that you lead with integrity. That you lead with morals. I've heard you say this before on multiple occasions, because there is spin. I mean, come on, we're selling. At some point you're selling the dream, but you believe in the dream. That doesn't mean it's wrong. Right? But you are selling the dream. So I love that. I love that advice. So what about for companies who have big money to spend, okay? And they're like, we gotta just change directions, or, we want to do something big. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah. So for the big companies, it really is about having a consistent engine that is going to sell your brand. And there's paid media and there's earned media, and neither of them, one is more of a switch and one is more of a slow build, but neither of them should be switched off and then switched on, or switched on and then switched off in a month. So with paid, it's about brand recognition, about being able to tell your message the way you want to tell it, and you pay a premium for that. With earned media or more of public relations, it is about providing service and filling a need in a ongoing conversation. And so how are you building that in a organic, authentic way that will continue to perpetuate itself? So, I come at it from looking at 3 pillars of the business. And one of that is very much like the traditional PR, I pitch a reporter, they interview my client, they write the story, it runs, done and done. And then, there's the second pillar, which is content creation. And these days, news outlets do need us to, are interested in getting a point of view from a client. And there are opportunities to help make that connection and help them provide that content, because so many times I work with companies who are like, oh yeah, they hand me a marketing message and expect that can fly with PR. But no, you need to buy an ad with that for that message. But how are they providing a service and, educating? And that is, the earned piece of it. So
right, you have to give to
having
get
a point of view.
Yeah, you have to give to get. You can't just come at it with this is who we are, this is our message, go
buy this new flavor, look at this, that sort of thing. That's not clickbait.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, unless the flavor is and then the third leg of that stool is the speaking engagements, the recognition, just making sure that you're at all of the events that you should and you're supposed to be at, and that you have a plan. Like, I'm guilty as charged of going I just recently went to a conference, and it was one of the first times that I had just bought a badge and I was just going to a conference. I didn't have I didn't have any clients there. I didn't have a game plan. And that is not what I do. So it was interesting to do that for once.
I love that for you.
I had little game plans in my non-game plan. Like, that's
yeah, right. I'm going to say, yeah, right. I know you have a plan. But good for you. Sometimes you have to just go with the flow.
And that is fun. But you get the best bang out of your buck by, like, and you know, there's the sales strategies of it. You like want to do the targets and that, this and that. But the communication strategy of that piece is like, who's going to be there, what reporters, like making sure that they're connecting with you, telling your story as through the lens of that conference. So yeah, it's fun.
God dang, girl. Oh, I'm glad you do this. And I'm glad to know you. I'm so glad to know you. And I can't wait to be that big budget one day and be like, Maverick,
I know,
what do we do?
right?
Yeah.
I know.
I can't wait.
And I mean, it's just so good. Also, it's so amazing to have positive people like you in the industry too, because you just, I don't know, I feel like it's been a tough time for a couple of years. And like, and you know, I really want to put a point on what you were saying about like the positiveness of it, because it's really easy to let, you know, to come from a place of scarcity and negativity. But there's enough work for everyone. There's like, as many people have said, and many people say every day, the industry will never be as small as it is today.
Right.
We need all the people to help. Like, we, you know, want, like, let's come from a place of abundance, joy, kindness, happiness, and, you know, just try to be that every day. And that's what you, like, that's why I love seeing your happy, smiling face.
Oh, thank you, sister. Thank you. Well, I truly feel blessed to be able to work in this industry and in this capacity. I mean, come on. It's just like I think that I have the most fun. And so that's kind of why I have a smile on my face all the time.
Yeah, but you're making moves and you're making moves in Texas. Like one of, you know, I mean, that state, like, I'm so glad you're there. Like my whole family lives in Texas. I love Texas. I may be down there more than less, you know? And you know, it's midterms year. Like I hope every single person listening to this episode is registered to vote. And if you're not registered to vote, please figure out how, and know that this is the one thing that you can do to make a difference and, you know, have your voice be heard. And I think that that's, you know, that's an important part of what I do too, is just making sure that we all realize what our rights are, you know, and in business too. So, I don't know.
No, absolutely. We have to be civically engaged if we want the change to go our way, period. You know, like, what are we even here for? Because I'm not going to be anyone's pawn. I mean, I know at some point everyone is just a cog, but I am really trying here to be like, no, I want to change this whole situation in Texas in my lifetime. Okay, so I can go into a dispensary and smoke weed with my friends and just have a ball and not worry about a damn thing. So that's where
worry about the y'all-itics. The y'all-itics.
The y'all-itics. I love it. Okay, sister. All right, so I ask my guests, all of my guests, the same 3 questions. And so before I let you go, I have got to know your answers. Okay.
I hope I'm ready for this. I've, you know, obviously listened to your episodes of the past, so hopefully I am.
You're born ready. Okay, so the first question is, give me the 3 people who are in your smoke circle, dead or alive.
Oh, boy. Jesus.
Oh, my God. You're the first person who said Jesus, I think. Give this girl
I want Jesus there.
A round of applause. God damn, that's a good one.
Let's see. Probably Leonardo da Vinci, not DiCaprio.
Okay. I was gonna say
Leonardo da Vinci. And oh my gosh, are they all men? Wait, hold on, I want to redo. Let's see.
You can totally have
this
a redo.
Is really important. Like I can't. Like I've thought about it, and now like, you know, my mom.
Yes.
And,
Perfect.
One more. Who else? Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so tough.
I know. There are,
Right now, I'm just going to call it, because every minute it could be different. But right now, I'm reading about Catherine the Great. So I'm just going to say Catherine the Great.
Brilliant. I love it. And then in every smoke circle, every feminized imaginary smoke circle, I get to float in. So I'm excited.
Yes, you're number 4. Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited about this one. Jesus. Okay, cool. So second question is, what other woman is inspiring you right now in the cannabis game?
So wait, I want to just reference that we will also be smoking, native roots shorties.
Please.
Yes. Because
I jumped ahead.
Because I actually don't do the circle anymore because of germs and stuff, but I love a shorty. I love a good dog walker. So that's what I will be passing out in my smoke circle. So anyways.
I love that. So everyone will have their own shorty.
Yes, everyone will just have their little, yeah.
Do you know where you are, where the smoke circle is taking place?
Oh, it is on a beach. It is definitely on, it is Hawaii for sure, or something like that. Yeah,
Hawaii.
Since we can be anywhere. Yeah.
So I can see Jesus in like board shorts.
Yes.
Board short Jesus.
And like his little Crocs or whatever he wears, or like his Birkenstocks. Excuse me. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Catherine the Great's wearing a thong, but anyway.
For sure. Bikini ready.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so...
And my mom is wearing a moo-moo. No, just kidding. Anyway.
I love you. Okay, so what other woman is inspiring you right now in cannabis?
Obviously, Nancy Whiteman. I mean, she is, obviously, yes. She's...
Saint Nancy. Pray for us.
Yeah, Saint Nancy. Nancy, I've had the honor of working with her since 2015. She has really changed my perception on a lot of things, but I'm just really lucky to be surrounded by powerful, kind, smart women. I think that the other person that I have to always give a shout out to is my former boss, Lori Rosen at the Rosen Group. She was an incredible mentor to me, and it taught me everything I know. So I have to give her a shout out too. But yeah, so those are two of the biggest mentors I think that I've experienced in my life. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Great women to be more mentored by, for sure. And I always appreciate all of the access that you give us. You mentioned Nancy Whiteman. I mean, she is arguably the coolest, most important person in the cannabis game right now.
And I hear she's going to be on the show.
Yes.
I don't know. Can I say that?
Yes, of course you can say that. And I hear this badass woman.
Follow this space.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you for always just making it possible. You're so gracious and just great to work with. So I really appreciate that. So I can't wait to talk to Nancy on the Feminized podcast and hear who's in her smoke circle. Okay.
Wait, but thank you for everything that you do, carrying this message, reaching people that might not otherwise receive this in a state that has historically, I mean, I've been pulled over recently in Texas, and I'm glad they didn't find what was in my car. But I mean, it can be a scary place to live, and you're doing the hard work, and I just think you're amazing. So thank you for all of the hard work that you do to tell these stories, because that is so important.
Well, thank you. It's what we do. It's what we do and what we live for. Just being a conduit, right?
Live for it. Live for it. Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so wait, one more question though. One more.
Oh gosh.
Not gonna let you off the hook. Okay. One more question. Give me what advice would you give to 13-year-old Shawna?
This is a tough one. I have listened to past ones and episodes of this, and it just even thinking about the question makes me want to cry a little bit, because it's so tough to be a 13-year-old. And I think, it's not as big as you think. You are bigger than it is. And you're strong, and you will get through this, and it's going to get harder before it gets easier, but hang in there, because every day that you take a breath and that you contribute to society, the world is better for it. And I think that there are a lot of 13-year-olds out there that need to hear that today. Right now, I don't know when this will air, but it is May. It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes,
we are losing people. Yeah, we're losing people every second of every day due to suicide and other things that are, in my mind, a drug overdose is a suicide.
Agreed.
And by the way, you don't overdose from cannabis ever. No. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but we don't lose you forever. So anyways, I would tell my 13-year-old self to hang in there, because it only gets better.
Oh, that message. What a beautiful message. God, Shawna, will you please come back? I'm coming back.
Regular basis? Yeah.
Okay.
We should get some of the other amazing women in our space to join us.
Let's do a panel. Fun, so. Yeah, let's do a fun I don't know. We'll call it something more fun than a panel though. We'll call it a smoke circle.
Exactly. Love it. You're the best.
You are the best, Shawna. How do people find you?
The MaverickPR.com, and we're on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. And I hope to get to talk to everyone and see people soon at upcoming events.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. Can't wait to see you again and give you a big hug, sister.
Yes, ma'am. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks again, Shawna.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
If you'd like more, subscribe to the Feminized podcast on YouTube. Follow at Feminized with Liz Grow on Instagram. Special thanks to our sponsors Moose Labs and Richard's Rainwater. The Feminized podcast is a Grow House Media production, created by Liz Grow, produced by Patrick Pope and Tanis Ray, with original theme music and audio mixing by Q at Q to King Productions in New Braunfels, Texas.